What's up? What's up? What's up with it, y'all? Yeah, we back with another one. I'm kind of getting into these reaction videos. The reason I'm getting into the reaction videos is for the simple fact that I'll be having some nice psychedelic experiences, and they be telling me a lot of things. They be showing me a lot of things, and it's crazy because it takes time for them to register at times, but now it's getting faster and faster to where I can have a experience on the weekend, and through the week everything comes to me. Like, I don't have to go looking for the information I was shown. It gives it to me in ways of YouTube or just talking to people on the street. It comes to me. Like, if I'm just driving to myself and I'm thinking to myself, it comes to me and it shows me. And I'm gonna give you an example of that. For the ones that seen my last experience that I had, you know, this is gonna give an example of some of the things that I was talking about, because this guy, like this, I just seen this video when I came in here to do a live, but then I seen this and I started watching it as I'm getting ready, and yeah, it opened up some doors like as usual. But I'm gonna just get into it, and you gonna see what I'm talking about, and then for the ones that seen my video, you gonna understand it too. So let's go.
The problem is that you have heaven, you have earth, and you have hell. Okay? The heaven is spiritual, it's consciousness. Hell, it's mechanical, it's machines. Okay? We're stuck in between. It's always our choice whether to choose heaven or hell because of free will. Okay? And for most of human history, we have chosen heaven. But eventually, you had people who chose hell. And when you have choose hell, you have access to technology, right? And this technology allows you to conquer and control other people. Okay?
Remember when I said, like, that was one of the things that I was shown is like the entity that does that exists within us, that makes us want to conquer and basically control each other, because you're trying to control reality, you're trying to control life.
But once you control and you conquer and control the people, you have to get them to obey you. If you are enlightened, if you know the truth, you know that none of this matters. We're all gonna die. So why should I listen to you?
Exactly.
So look, in order for me to control,
look, this is what's crazy. Because when I say that, people don't understand it. People go, "No, you have to learn this. You have to." No, you really don't. This is what you've been taught, so that's what you believe. And then when you accept it, that's what you look for and you try to make happen, trying to control reality in your own way within your belief. It's like crazy, bro, but you really don't have to do none of this stuff.
I need you to fear death. Okay?
Exactly.
I need you to forget God, and I need you to fear death. When you die, dying is the worst thing that can happen to you. Because remember, before people understood, death was just a part of the journey. It was a release. It was an opportunity to reset yourself and come back. Now, death is the worst thing that could ever happen to you.
He said it was just you reset yourself and you come back. That's it.
Okay? So how do you forget God, and how do you get people to fear death? You use science, right? And you create theories like the Big Bang, like evolution, like neuroscience, to make people forget the divinity inside you. Mm-hmm. Right? So that's what science is for. But
it's crazy because I think the dope part about it is it don't matter where you go or what you believe. Like, you're creating the journey as you go. So, but it doesn't matter. Everybody's going to still end up in the same place and still doing the same thing in the end, regardless.
Fortunately, for these people, that's not enough. Because eventually, we'll all die, right? So the only way around this is by creating a new technology called transhumanism. Okay? You may have heard of transhumanism. Again, don't worry about the concept now. We'll discuss this later on in the semester. But transhumanism is to surpass humanity, which basically means defeat death. To upload your brain to the internet so you're here forever.
Remember I said this, bro. I said, as humans, that's the one thing that we're trying to do. We're trying to figure out a way that I can stay Booker forever. Forever. So if I can take my consciousness, I can upload it to a computer or something like that, I can be Booker forever. And that's what we're trying to do. Where it's like weird of why we would even do that, because it seemed like it'll get old. That's why we doing what we do now. We go in and out of life and come back and be able to restart again, because life seems new every time we do it. It seems like it's something new.
Okay? To trap you here forever. And so now the question then is, why are they doing this? Why are people in power doing this? Okay, so as we've discussed in this class, throughout human history, it's usually secret societies that have the power. Okay? Why? Okay, well, last class we discussed the idea of bureaucracy, right? Mass bureaucracy. And we discussed how in a mass bureaucracy, bureaucrats don't really want to do anything. They're lazy. Well, guess what? If you're part of a secret society and you're able to coordinate secretly together, you can control the bureaucracy because you're the only people doing stuff. Okay? But then the question, but the problem is bureaucracies do not like secrets. Secret societies. So you have to maintain your secrecy. And how do you do that? You do that through transgression. If you guys are doing bad things together, okay? Now you have blackmail on each other. And therefore, you're committed to keeping each other's secrets. If one of you falls down, everyone falls down together. Okay? So now you're committed to
and this lets you know why, like even in Diddy instance and a lot of others, this is why they don't speak of the things that they do. It has to stay secret. It's supposed to.
Maintain the secrets. But the problem is this. The problem is, okay, it's conspiracy, but the moment you're found out, they'll come and arrest you. So how do you work together without actually meeting each other? And the answer is religion. Okay? Or the word we use is eschatology. Religion is just a script, an understanding of the world that allows you to coordinate secretly. Okay? Does all this make sense? Okay. So now these secret societies, they are embedded in a mass bureaucracy, and they're manipulating the bureaucracy, and they're working together to commit transgression. They have their own secret religion. Okay? When you combine these three together, what happens is that they're now forced to invert this understanding, inversion. Why? Because they know that they're doing evil in this world. So when they go meet God, God's going to punish them, right? So the way to get around this is, well, I will just worship someone who's superior to God, who is Satan, okay? Okay. So what they're going to do is they're going to invert this, okay? By celebrating Satan, they can now justify all their transgressions, right? As a way to empower Satan. Also, there's a fundamental weakness in the system, okay? So let's go over the three main characteristics of the system.
It's crazy how he showed it too, because it's showing that all these they are the same thing. They are the same thing, but the way we look at it, and we put hell, the technology form. It's like hell is just the form, and this right here probably is the formless. I don't know. It's dope how he did this though.
The first is unity. Okay? So this entire system is complete and unified. Second is symmetry. Symmetry or polarity. And what this means is that if there's good, there must be evil. If there's ugliness, there must be beauty. Why? Because you cannot have one without the other, okay? One thing is meaningless without the other. That's why if you have God, you must have Satan, okay? And the third principle is as above,
so below.
So below. And what this means is that everything is a reflection of each other. So you can never.
Now, the mushroom showed me what? Everything is a reflection of each. That's all. Like, bro, I'm telling you, bro, this be mind blowing to me because, like he's saying it, but like just picture, like living through it on an experience, being shown it, face value, not somebody's like telling it to you, but living through it and seeing it and experiencing it, which in a sense we're all doing. We just can't see it because we got it covered by all these other things.
Never defeat God, but what you can do is corrupt human beings to worship Satan so that Satan becomes everything. Okay? All right. Are you guys following along?
Okay?
Yeah. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to invert this world. And how do you invert this world? What you do is, you know that hell is material. And you know that heaven is spiritual, right? What you do is you brainwash people to worship the material world and abandon the spiritual world. You make money, power, technology, science the greatest things in the world. Okay? You get rid of God, you get rid of religion, you get rid of compassion, you get rid of love. And that's how you control the world. So in other words, what is happening today,
and that's what I was tripping off of. It's like how it showed me that this thing said, okay, it can't do this, so that's what it would do. It would control the ones that are in the world. You feel me? The ones that are here, it would take control of them and it would lead them in the way that it wanted to make them think that it was the shit, it was the thing, but it wasn't.
is a war between heaven and hell. The people in charge, the secret societies, they are interested. They must make hell into heaven and heaven into hell. They must invert the world in order to maintain their power. So first thing to remember is that because of the principle of free will, God and Satan cannot interfere in this world. Okay? Second is we have to remember that there are different secret societies.
Oh, wow.
There are thousands of different secret societies, okay? The secret societies that are able to use all.
And it's about the same thing because I was looking at it like God couldn't, he couldn't control anything in this world. You feel me? Like everything that comes in, it controls itself. It does what it wants to do and be how it is. But that's a better way of even looking at it or saying it is how he said,
Three principles to accumulate power on the most successful. Okay? So that's why they're promoting Satan. Then the third question then is, why doesn't God do anything about this? Okay? And the answer is because if you think about it, in only in time of complete darkness, only when Satan rules, can humans fully shine. Right? Does that make sense? So God has trust in us. God has faith in us. God loves us completely. God believes that someone will stand up and do the right thing. And when that person does the right thing, the universe will shine. Okay? Does that make sense? All right? So only in a time of darkness can the light truly shine. And remember,
Yeah.
when someone shines that light is reflected in everyone else. So everyone's light shines as well. Okay? So that's the idea here. You can choose to shine if you want, but only if the world becomes really evil and dark and sinful can you have this option. Okay? So what all this is saying is this, okay? In reality, literally, everything's just vibrations. All right? How these vibrations work, right? No one knows, but it's all just vibrational. But what we know is we are participants in the universe. So if we all believe God exists, guess what? God exists. We all believe sin exists, sin exists. Okay? That's why this war, it's not over resources. It's over perception. Do you understand? This is a war of perception. If I can get everyone in the world to believe that God is dead and Satan is the true God, I win. Okay? And how do I do that? Well, I can do that by shooting rockets up into space, by putting man on the moon and on Mars. Okay? Why? Because now I've destroyed the concept of heaven. Before, we've understood that the moon, the Mars were beyond us because they are heavenly, they're spiritual. But once I put man on the moon and on Mars and go beyond, I've proven heaven doesn't exist. I've destroyed God. I can also fake an alien invasion and pretend these aliens are Satan, okay? Okay? All of science, you don't know this, but all of science, it's not about discovering reality, it's about reinventing reality in a way that serves power. That's what science really is. Historically, what's happened is that a charismatic leader has emerged to say that I am God's representative. Okay? Why? Because we believe we're all equal, right? You're no different than I. What makes you God? Well, the answer is because I'm channeling God. Okay? And historically, so look at the early empires, the early kingdoms. What the kings say is that I'm descended from God. God came down, had sex with my mother, and now I'm born. Okay? But that person is not saying, I am God itself, but I am born of God. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay.
I mean, everybody is that.
So this is the basic framework for what we'll be working with the rest of the semester. Okay? But understand that what's happening today is a war between heaven and hell. If I can convince you that God is dead and Satan is the true God, if I can convince you that the material world is real, the spiritual world is a lie, if I can convince you that death is the worst thing to happen to you, and you should do all you can to live, then hell has won, okay? But what's important to understand is this system is set up so that hell can never win out. And the reason why is the entire cosmos is interconnected. So if we do evil, if we feel pain, if there's too much suffering in the world, the earth itself rebels, right? Because of vibrational energy. And this leads to things like the Great Flood, which...
Hey, man, it's crazy because, it's like he's just saying what I said over time. That's what just makes me laugh. Like, every time I go and watch these kind of videos, it's like, dang, man, see, this is exactly what I was saying. This is why I can understand it, but it's like, what the
resets
heck,
the
bro?
world and lets humanity renew itself. Okay? So there are all these different fail-safe systems in here to make sure that hell can never triumph. And that's
and that's what I was even saying about the the experience with Anubis. And that's what Anubis was showing. Even the ones that did stuff that seemed like it was terribly wrong and destroyed thousands and thousands of people. It had to be done in order to keep this thing the way it is. You feel me? It was the fail safe, basically. Then we don't realize that. We just go, well, this terrible thing happened, and with the Jews, and then with slavery, it's like with slavery, and then this thing over here, and bro, it's a fail safe on this thing, to make sure that it don't go that way or it don't go that way. It kind of just stays in the middle. It's going both ways at one time. And it's crazy because, like how he even said it, Satan and God, you as you go, you begin to see that, because he said Satan was like, when it comes out technology, you got to understand, where did technology come from? It came from our minds, from within us, from within the God source. You feel me? That's where everything that we make comes from here. It's not out there already. It comes from here. We think of it, we make it, it becomes real in reality. You feel me? So I'm just saying, let me know what you think about this, and make sure you hit that like button. If you ain't subscribed, sub up, and I'm gonna hit y'all up next time. I'm out. Peace.